Good morning, YouTube. How are you? It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. I've been meditating and doing all sorts of things. And I am trying to get over this weird resistance that I have to saying good morning. And I've had it for years. I walk around in Stanley Park and I see all these people and they're so lovely and they want to say good morning. It kind of pisses me off in a weird way. And I don't say good morning. I say weird things like howdy and stuff. And I don't know why. And I thought, but it gives me kind of a strange feeling like something's going on here. I've got some weird childhood issue or something with saying good morning. And I think, fuck that. I don't need to worry about things like that. I am going to say good morning. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Just like my friend Ralph Smart, who says, I'm breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Well, I'm going to say good morning, YouTube. And I might make a bloody video for YouTube every goddamn day. And I bet you millions of people are going to listen to me because I have great things to say. I'm very interesting. And so here we go. I am just going to tell stories. I'm good at telling stories and I want to tell stories, so I'm going to do that. I went through a really weird period in my life once where it seemed like everything was falling apart, but in a weird way, really cool stuff started happening too. And I remember once I was walking down a street and everything horrible was happening. Everyone hated me and my life, I didn't have any money and I was pretty much homeless and all my friends just disappeared and my business was going down the drain and it was just awful. But I was walking along the street and all of a sudden a voice like came in my head and it said, get the Course in Miracles, like clear voice in my head. I heard the words and it told me exactly what to do. And I was across the street from this store. I didn't know a damn thing about the Course of Miracles really, but I was right across the street from a store that sold it. I had enough money to buy it. I just went across the street, bought it, took it home, and then this most amazing process started happening. It was like I became obsessed with this information in the Course of Miracles, and I would study it and read it every day, like really hard, and I would do the lessons, and I would meditate and everything. And even though my life was falling apart, I wasn't worried about it falling apart. I thought, well, I can't do anything about it, it seems like, so I'm just gonna like read the Course of Miracles, why not? And it turned out really well. I literally read it and read it and read it and learned. And that was 25 years ago. And now the stuff that I read in the Course of Miracles is a very big part of my life. And I use it every day. So who knew? I mean, it just seemed like everything was falling apart. But then there was this amazing stuff that started happening. You know, like I would get the best ideas and it was like I knew a lot of stuff that I couldn't possibly know. I knew the truth of things and you know, I started acting different than before, but I felt great. I felt alive. I felt empowered in a way that I'd never felt before. And so I didn't want to stop. But everybody else in my life was like freaking out. They were like, oh my God, this is so weird. What's going on with Phil? He's, you know, letting his life fall apart, not doing anything about it and whatever. I just couldn't hold it all together. It was too much for me. It was too hard. And I just thought, I'm going to do this thing that feels so good, even though everyone else kind of can't deal with it, right? So anyway, that's what I did. And my life did fall apart and it was fucking horrible, actually. But it was actually the coolest thing that ever happened to me at the same time. And eventually people got so weirded out by what I was doing, even though it didn't particularly have anything to do with them. And they ended up like getting together and throwing me in the mental hospital against my will. It was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me. And all of a sudden, I was out one night with a friend of mine and in a crowded room filled with people. And all of a sudden, I looked over and there was all of these policemen. And I looked at them and I thought, holy shit, these people are like, they're coming to get me. And they were. And I don't know why I knew that. And I don't know. But anyway, they came over and I thought, okay, here you go. There's a whole lot of policemen. So they took me out of this place, this crowded, busy nightclub, and everyone's looking at me like, oh my God, what did he do? And they took me outside and they had a paddy wagon thing and all of that stuff. And it was like, whoa, what's up with this? And I didn't say anything. I kept on breathing, which is one of the things I learned from the Course in Miracles. And I was pretty calm, right? And so finally I looked at this one policeman and he was kind of a handsome fella anyway, and I like handsome fellas, that's for sure. And I said, hey, like, do I need a lawyer or something? And he looked at me and he said, just keep on doing exactly what you're doing. And I didn't know what was happening. Nobody was telling me anything. They just put me in the back of this paddy wagon thing, and I didn't even know where they were taking me, for God's sake. I thought, are they taking me to jail or something? So anyway, they ended up taking me to a mental hospital in Calgary. And it was like, okay, here you go. And so they just took me upstairs and then they rolled this bed out into the middle of this, I don't know, kind of open reception area thing. And they drugged me big time. Like, whoa, I don't even know what the hell this drug was, but it was bloody amazing. And I thought, and then they like left me in the middle of this room, I guess. And I know now that they were like observing me to see I didn't like, I don't know, kill myself or something. But it was so weird. And that amazing feeling that I had that lasted like practically a whole month just kind of went away after they drugged me with whatever it was that they drugged me. And then I looked around and my whole bloody life was had fallen apart already. I had no business. I had no friends. I pretty much had nowhere to live. And nobody was telling me what was going on. And I had no idea, at all what was happening. And so I read this little sign. There was a little sign beside the bed that said, if you want to get out of here, you're going to have to do all of this stuff, right? And it's kind of like, oh, okay, well. At first, I was so blown away from whatever drug they gave me, I could barely even walk, let alone think straight. But eventually, after a while, 3-4 days or something, I read this sign. I thought, well, okay, I guess I'll do these things. And you had to make a tribunal and you had to do everything. And they had, and it was going to take a week or two for this tribunal to happen and whatever. And in hindsight, I understand what was going on. If I was together enough to do all these things on the list, I guess I wasn't crazy and they would let me go, right? But I didn't know that at the time. And I pretty much had nowhere to go because I maybe was homeless or I don't really remember by that point. But the whole long and the short of it was I had the most exciting couple of months that I've ever had in my life. And even though everything was kind of falling apart, I never felt so good and I never felt so alive. And so, in now, after years and years and years, they tell me, oh, well, you have bipolar disorder, and oh, well, you have this and you have that, and blah, blah, blah. You're disabilitied or whatever. I know that amazing thing that happened to me was not a disability, that's for damn sure. In fact, I never felt so alive in my whole life. And, so for those of you who have whatever you might think of as, bipolar disorder or whatever, be careful. You know what? Years later, I don't know, that was 30 years ago or 25 years ago or something. And yeah, my life fell apart, but it's okay. I didn't die, and I lived differently than I did before. And it's okay, right? And I also don't take any antidepressant pills. I don't take any of that stuff because I just knew when I was doing it that it wasn't right somehow. It made me feel horrible. And I guess I was more calm and acted more normal the way everybody thought I should act, but I didn't feel anything like I felt when I was having bipolar disorder all over the place, apparently. But, I I'm just sharing my story. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not making any suggestions about how you should live your life or whatever. But that was, without a doubt, the most exciting thing that ever happened to me in my whole life. And the information that I learned when I was obsessed with the Course of Miracles is, without a doubt, the most information and value, the most valuable information that I have ever received in my entire life. And I have gone on to learn and grow and figure out a whole lot of other things that I used to think I had to explain to everybody. I don't. I'm loving it. I meditate every day and I'm loving it. If you want to try something, meditate every day for 20 minutes. It'll blow you away. Takes sometimes a year before you start to notice, but boy, oh boy, try it. Anyway, good morning, YouTube. That's going to be my thing like Ralph Smart does. Good morning, YouTube. I'm just going to let her go. And you know what? Like, describe, or subscribe, or whatever. I don't know anything about all that stuff. I want to have millions of followers. Share the hell out of this. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.